Today I have a bit of a gripe, right? A bit of a gripe. I don't like it, and apparently so many other people don't like it, but I I know for a fact that I'm a man of the sciences, right? I'm a man of the sciences. Uh, and what science says goes, in my opinion. Regardless of my opinion on the matter, what science says goes. And I have been doing a bit of research recently on golems in Minecraft. And several people, right, not going to name any names, you know who you are, have decided that they would like to get into a heated argument with me on the nature of what counts as a golem. Right? Just about to fall asleep. Oh, my bad, G. My bad, G. But what's up, Clockwork? They are trying to tell me that a ghast is not a golem in Minecraft, stating that golems, like according to traditional folklore, are, made of clay and, are called golems. And they have a purpose in life. They're told a purpose and they have to be created by man, right? Minecraft has no such issues, and I'm tired of hearing they have to have a purpose. No, they don't. Most already do. In fact, I would wager all of the mobs, all of the golems in Minecraft have a purpose. They do, including the stupid ones like ghasts. Okay, I would like to say that a ghast is a golem. If you don't like that, I don't care. I don't like it, but guess what? It's a thing. You craft it in a crafting table, and then you give it water, and then boom, ghast. That is like textbook golem right there. I know it's not traditional textbook. Minecraft lore explained. Exactly. Okay, so in the lore, humans, or at least the builders, the player does not have to create the golem for a golem to exist. For example, iron golems. Okay? Iron golems. Villagers can spawn those guys. They are not the same species as an ancient builder, which is you, meaning anyone can create a golem. Hell, a really well-trained Enderman can create a golem. Okay? A golem is not differentiated by the man. Okay? So if we know that humans don't have to make the golem, then what does make a golem? Am I family friendly? Not really. I say fuck, shit, and cunt a lot. But I'll try and keep it down for this one because we're talking about Minecraft. So I'll keep the cussing down to like a brisk like fucking 3. Okay, we'll keep it down. So golems, right? If they don't have to get created by humans, what does constitute a golem? Can you say happy birthday? Happy birthday, Justin! Happy birthday, Justin! Bro, looks like a dude whose mouth I used in the joint. What are you talking about, God? What are you talking about? Anyway, golems, right? What does constitute a golem? Good question. Most people don't know this fucking answer. In fact, I had to basically figure it out on Minecraft because guess what? Minecraft doesn't directly tell you what a golem is. And yes, it says, oh, well, it has to have golem in the name. No, it does not. Because a wither is a golem. But it doesn't have a golem in the name. How is it a wither? It's literally made damn near 1-for-1 the same as an iron golem. It uses the same shape, the same T shape, and then you put skulls on top instead of pumpkins, which would... he's saying you got a pretty mouth there, boy. That's crazy. I want to be flattered because, like, mouths, right? But also at the same time, I'm not homosexual. So, you're good over there. You could say over there. You can keep your cock to yourself, please. But, like I said, golems don't have to have the word golem in their name. And if you are hard set on they need the word golem in the name, guardians are also fucking golems. They're a fish type. I ain't gay. It ain't gay if you close your eyes. Who has to close their eyes, though? Who has to close their eyes? Anyway, a golem, because we can all say a guardian is a golem, okay? A guardian guards the fucking, the underwater, like, structure thing. It's made out of prismarine. How do you make it? No fucking clue. But I know it gets made there, right? Because they literally, even in the encyclopedia, or I guess the beast, the mob bestiary, right? You can see that they don't have normal organs. They're very clearly, they shoot lasers out their fucking eyes. What other animal have you ever seen shoot lasers out of their eyes? None of them. In fact, they have a laser similar to that of the one that they used to heal the Ender Dragon. Maybe it's a reverse polarity, I don't know. But it is the same thing, right? We can all say that a guardian is a golem. Yo, where's Queso's cousin? I don't know, bro. I don't know. He's out having his he's out having a honeymoon. He just got married, guys. Also, thank you for the likes. I really appreciate that. Thank you. He's out there having his honeymoon right now. I think he'll be back tomorrow. Warden is a golem. The warden is a golem. See, this guy knows what he's talking about. Someone knows. The warden is a golem. So we also know snow golems. Snow golems, also a golem. They're a snowman, right? But they call it a snow golem. Say 6'7". That's crazy, Kelly. What's up, Vic? Welcome, welcome, welcome. But like I said, it is a golem. We can assume that guardians are golems because they literally do not have organs. They don't have the same organs as like a normal creature, and what creature would make it? We know an elder guardian is a large guardian that guards the sponges, right? That's a very weird thing about guarding, but it guards it, right? Nonetheless, it has a purpose. Guard sponge, right? Guard SpongeBob at his pineapple, right? That is his entire goal in life. So what are the other goals, right? So what are the other golems, really? If we know a golem does not have to have the word golem in the name, then it doesn't have to be a golem. What's the anatomy of a ghast? That's a good question. I don't think the anatomy of a ghast really matters in this instance because of the fact that you can create it in a crafting table. A crafting table. That is not being birthed. They're not shitting it out of themselves and then boom, ghast, right? They're literally just crying on top of shit. You know the copper golem. The copper golem, also a golem. It also doesn't make the chest a golem too, because that's made in the same exact process. The chest is not a golem, but the thing on top is a golem. In fact, I can tell you exactly what type of golem each thing is. Guardian, prismarine golem. What is a warden? It's a skulk golem. What is a creeper? It is a grass golem. Exactly. It's new. It is new. I see that. But like I said, all of these things are golems. But for some reason, I'm in a fucking dick-waving contest trying to figure out why someone can't understand that if you craft it, it is therefore a golem. Do a backflip instead of yapping. You're done. Get out of here. I'm going to keep yapping because it's my channel, because fuck you, that's why. But like I said, all of these things are golems, but for some reason I'm in a dick-waving conversation about why a ghast is a golem. You can craft it! Where's that meme? Math is math! Right, that meme and all. But like I said, it is a golem. In fact, I can tell you that there are two types of golems. There's natural golems, and then there's artificially made golems. For example, the creaking, the warden, a ghast now, because technically it's both. It's an artificial one that you had to make first, and then, it gets made or created over time. But yeah, anyway, you've got warden, creaking, ghast, what else? Creeper. All of those things. These ones right here. Those are naturally created. Those are ones that will get created eventually, with or without the player in there. By technicality, so is the Iron Golem, because, villagers, but really, if villagers weren't there also, those would not get created. How the gas got a child? That same child you could craft in the fucking crafting table! It's a crafting table, baby! What are you talking about? Organic production. Exactly. Those things will have an organism eventually create it. Some other organism that doesn't have to exist, right? If those organisms did not exist, that would also not exist. Yeah, you can craft its child in the fucking... You can go into the crafting table, put a soul sand in the middle, and put the tears of dead ghasts in it, and then boom, you have one. The reason I say that they're also artificial is because they cry these tears in the nether, which fall upon the soul sand. And eventually, once it's been cried on 8 different times, it will eventually become a dried out ghast, right? Which will then eventually get cried on enough that it becomes a normal ghast. And then it grows up, and then boom, ghast in the nether, right? Humans can speed this up by just crafting it on the crafting table, putting it outside, putting it in water, waiting 20 minutes, and then boom, baby ghast. Then you just force feed it snowballs, and then boom. Are we talking about Minecraft? We sure are. We are talking about Minecraft. So that's why it's a golem. It is a golem. Just because it has other organs and stuff does not make it a fucking human. Because a human, they have to get down and dirty. Fuck for that shit. Right? Villagers, they have to get down and dirty. Okay, you got to give them a few carrots, and then boom, they get the business done. Every other creature has to fuck in order to make itself. Every other creature. You only need one ghast to make every other ghast, and because it is made of an external block, it is impregnating with its fucking tears the fucking ground itself, and then the ground is eventually turning into a golem. That same golem is a ghast. I just told you the entire life cycle. I can tell you how the life cycle goes. The life cycle. Also, what's up, Freddy? Welcome back, my guy. Welcome back. So, gas tears is gassy, man. I get... Essentially, yeah. It's basically gas nut. It's gas nut. When you hold a gas tear, it's gas nut. Do ghasts have a gender? No, they'd be asexual because they cry over their young. If yes, they gay. If yes, they would be gay. But no, they're asexual, so they don't have to have another partner. That's why they are a golem. They are a reproducing one. Technically, it's not reproducing, but I'm just saying reproducing. They reproduce themselves. I am in a 15-minute break, 30-minute, 12 a.m. forklift driver. How does an ender dragon make eggs? Good question. I don't know whether an ender dragon is or is not a golem, because there's not a really good way of saying yes or no. You're such a Jew. You're such a Jew? Edgame? That's crazy. So why it gives you regeneration? So that's why it gives you regeneration. Yes. Because it's technically regenerating the souls that are in the fucking soul sand, right? The soul sand has soul energy. If you guys did not know, soul energy is required for any magical thing that happens that happens at all to happen, right? Soul energy is able to revive, it's able to kill, it's able to basically anything that exists in Minecraft is because of soul energy. What's up, Wolfpack? What's up, Wolfpack? Welcome in, my guy. So basically what it is it's tears of regeneration. They're basically crying regeneration. So I'm sure if you were to eat a gas tear, if it would allow you to do that, you would regenerate. You would be able to regenerate from whatever. You're a fucking witch. Burn the witch! Turns into the baby from Pompeii. But like I said, I'm tired of this bullshit that I keep getting fed over and over and over again because I'm trying to tell people it's a golem, right? But people are like, it's not a golem. It doesn't have golem in the name. And it's not a traditional golem. No shit. Most golems in media aren't. Most of them are not traditional golems that you see that you were told about. Most do not follow the same folklore. In fact, a large portion of them aren't even made out of the same fucking material. Right? They say, oh, clay or mud. Which one do you see is made out of clay or mud? What golem in Minecraft is made out of clay and mud? None of them. So it's not a golem. They're not the same thing. They're not the same thing. Oh, are you crying? They're not the same thing, you fucking moron. Anyway, thank you all for, thank you guys for 5 likes. Damn, I didn't think we were going to get this far in 15 minutes. Shit, thank you. Appreciate it. Gotta make sure my phone's charging. Hold on. We're still at 10%. We're good. If Mojang saw this, they might get shocked. They would be shocked that I just figured out what ghasts are. But guess what? I think they planned this the entire time. In fact, I think the only reason they have golems is because of the creeper. They needed a way to explain the creeper, right? They basically just lean into the creeper is made of grass. It explodes. It becomes, it's self-reproducing. It is a plant, right? It is a plant. It's a plant. It's an explosive plant, but a plant nonetheless. A plant nonetheless. Why would it need to go up to a human? Because guess what? If you look in the Mob Bestiary, you will find bones in them. Basically meaning a creeper needs dead human bones to recreate its body and then walk around. Yes, sir. It needs human bones for structure. You know what else needs human bones for structure? The Warden. Why does it need human bones for structure? Because the skulk wraps around these bones, basically condenses these bones down, and then allows it to walk around. It has several souls. In fact, you can see the souls in its chest. How could you ever think that's a living creature? It is obviously a fucking plant. I believe you can hit 100K. Thanks, I appreciate that. I don't believe it, but thank you. But like I said, this medium, it's a golem because it needs the word golem in the name. No, a mountain chicken doesn't need the word frog in the name for it to still be a frog. It's called a mountain chicken. And guess what that bitch is? It's a fucking frog or toad, whatever classification it's actually under. I think it's probably I think it is a frog. No, it's either a toad or a frog. Either way, it's an amphibian, not a chicken. Oh my God, are you dumb? Not everything needs the same name to still be something similar. For example, most creatures with the word crab in them are not real crabs. And things that are real crabs aren't called crabs half of the time. So why is it any different in a video game that uses the same fucking creatures? All of the mythological creatures so far, besides I think one of them, has came out to be an undead mob, an insect, or a fucking golem. Except for one, and that's whatever the lava walker guy is. I don't remember what its name is. But that one is a pyrophibian. It is strictly in the nether. It was born in the nether. It'll die in the fucking nether. It'll go extinct in the nether. That is its own creature. That's the only mythological creature that I have found. Hell, I can even tell you probably what the Ravager is. I think a Ravager is just an iron golem infused with a villager soul. An iron golem infused with more souls, probably. I don't know, like, it gives a different body. Automation might be a better word. Automaton might be a better word than golem. Nah, I'm using golem. I'm going to use golem. Because a lot of people are like, oh, we don't like that it's the word golem. I don't care. It's a golem. It uses the same processes to make it, and saying it's an automaton makes it think it's a robot. It's not a robot. It's a golem. It's a living creature that was created by another living creature, but externally and not through reproduction. So what are we blabbing about? We're blabbering about Minecraft. If we catch fish, are we fishing? If you catch a fly, are you not flying? You are not flying. Exactly. Is it weird that I'm playing Minecraft right now when you're talking about Minecraft? No. I was playing Minecraft like 2 minutes ago. But like I said, it is a golem. It is a golem, and they all have a purpose. But it has circuitry in it, similar to creepers and guardians. Yes, those have circuitry in them, but also at the same time, they do have organic bits, so they can't be robots because they have an organic bit. Basically making it part... That would be more cyborg, really, right? And I'm not coining the term automaton. We're just going to use the word that they already have in there, which is golem, because it's using souls to power everything. All of them are using souls in order to become a golem. They all require some sort of soul to do it. The original game on the PC is better than the one on PS5. I don't know about that, Chief. Actually, you kind of right. You play Incredibox? I don't know what that is. Add me on Roblox? No. I don't play Roblox. Roblox has pedophiles on it, and like the entire the system, the people that are making the the actual, not necessarily just the games, but the people in charge of everything of Roblox, the Roblox team, they don't want to get rid of pedophiles, so we're not doing that. You'd fit right in. Fuck you. No, I would not. Roblox situation. We're not doing all Roblox, okay? That has a bunch of allegations to it that I'm not. Can you do a gaming channel, please? Well, I want to do more gaming, but I don't have good internet or recording things or literally anything to record my game for. We used to do live streams where we do gaming. Haha, the next P. Diddy. Don't even. Those type of allegations get someone in trouble. Stick back to Minecraft. Exactly. We do need a gaming channel. Maybe I'll make a gaming channel. I might call it Frost Gaming or something like that. Frosty Gaming or some shit like that. I don't know. Oh, dude, we shrank. We gotta get back to working out, chat. We gotta get back to working out. But like I said, they are golems. We're going to use the already terminology that they have in Minecraft to then classify them as golems. I'm going to name it, we're going to go golem, right? That's going to be the overarching thing, right? We have golem. And then underneath that, we're going to have two classes. Golem artificia, artificial golems, and, we're going to have golem artifice, or artificia, whatever we want to say, and then naturus. Basically, natural. The gains are gone. I know the gains are gone. We still got abs and titties, but that's because I'm so skinny that it doesn't really matter. Only fat kids play Minecraft? I guess I'm the fattest kid here, because I've been playing Minecraft for a long time now, since the beginning of the game, since the Ender Dragon came out. I remember when that was happening, which is crazy. I remember when the Ender Dragon came out. So that's when I started playing. I've been playing Minecraft for a long time now. In fact, my dad got me Minecraft. Everybody, W Dad. My dad is awesome. I love my dad. My dad's awesome, guys. Y'all don't know this, but I love my dad deeply. My dad is awesome. W Dad, right? Got me my first computer, my first video games. One of my sons is 11 and fat. That's why I know. Damn, that's crazy. Well, I need to go. All right, see you later, man. Appreciate y'all coming by. We're at 9% on my phone. Okay, so we are not charging. That's crazy. I first started playing it back when it came out on Xbox 360. Yeah, I've been playing it since before it came to consoles. I've been playing it for so unbelievably long. There was not a Bedrock before this. There wasn't a Java edition or Bedrock edition. It was just Minecraft. I remember when Herobrine was being announced, people were talking about Herobrine as a mythological creature. I remember those days. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy how like long it's been and how old I feel. I am now an adult. That shit came out when I was a tiny tot. I'm talking, what, 2010? That's when it came out? Herobrine. Shit. Exactly. I was in the days when before Herobrine. I remember before Herobrine. Shit. I remember pre-alpha. I remember I used to make altars to summon him. Me too, bro. Me too. We were gullible as shit back then. At least I was gullible as shit back then. I was gullible, guys. I was gullible. I was like, you could have told me that like the Aether was real, and I would have been like, there's another dimension? Where? And then I'd try and make the glowstone piece of shit, and I would literally start crying because it wouldn't work. I'd be sitting here being like, what am I doing wrong? But I was also, at the same time, I started playing Portal. Right, Portal, specifically Portal 2, because I guess I won some type of raffle, and I started playing Portal. That was pretty cool. That was where I got my first I don't think I got the PS3 then, but that's where I got my first PS3 games, which was pretty cool. Then I slept on a couch for like a month and a half trying to beat Portal because I would play it from sun up to sundown, right? I remember playing Portal, and I was like 9 or 10, maybe 12. I was grinding. But yeah, no. I wish they would make a Portal 3. I know it'd be a cash grab, but shit, take my money. Portal 3 would be awesome. No. But yeah, no. I have been going down the Minecraft rabbit hole that is golems, and they are a lot more consistent than I thought they were. In fact, a blaze is also a golem. So you have blazes, ghasts, wardens, iron golems, copper golems, the wither, what else? The creaking, that's a wood golem, creepers. What else is there? See how many golems we're already at? Guardians, 9. We're already at so many golems. Which one have I not said yet? Is there one that I haven't said yet? Ravengers. That's 10. 10 golems. 10 golems, guys. Already. That's just the 10 off of the top of my head. The top of my own insignificant, tiny brain, guys. My insignificant, tiny brain. It's crazy. It's crazy how much we've achieved in life. It's crazy that Minecraft is this much lore and not a single person has found it yet. Not a single person has put the connections. Shoulder box? Ooh, well, no. Actually, no. Shulker boxes are not golems, I don't think. In fact, I don't think shulker boxes are golems. I think they are some type of crustacean. I will have to go into further detail with those guys because they can like do weird things, but also at the same time, there's no real way that like there's nothing that creates them. Like we can create a chest out of them, right? Meaning they have a lot of space inside, but also they're a weird gray spot. I don't know what they could be. They feel like a crustacean to me. Some type of crustacean that's in the end. Also, whenever the end update comes out, that's when I'll do like the end phylogenetic tree. That's when I'll do the phylogenetic tree for the end. Because the end update, I know what's happening. Guys, the end update is happening, and I'm almost 100% sure it's going to happen soon. Right? Maybe not 2026, maybe 2027 tops. But I think it's going to need a couple more drops, and I think they're still working on it because they have to go off of basically whatever dungeons is for like, if they're still trying to keep it a desolate area, they would have to do something like Endermite mounds with, I don't know, golden melons. That's where you get like glistening melons, like the full ones that you can have, and then you maybe eat those or something, or maybe glistening melons attract endermites or something like that. I don't know. We'll find out whenever that comes out. But like a yellow, purpley type thing with a large amount of desolateness. So probably like small oases that you'll find out in the middle of nowhere. So like instead of it being like, oh, we've got a whole biome, you've got like one or two like islands out in the far lands that you can have, maybe some grass but not a whole lot, because they're trying to keep desolate, right? Maybe a couple new structures like Endermite mounds, which by the way, guys, Mojang, if you're watching and you want to take this, Endermite mounds, I think that's a cash grab right there. Just take it. You can take it. I won't even. I'll say you guys had already created it before I even got there, right? You guys can take the credit for that. I'll know internally that I'm the one who said that one. But also at the same time, get your bag, guys, get your bag, right? Endermite mounds, a yellow mound with glistening melons coming off of it. It's like a growth of yellow leaves that could add in a new palette of yellow wood without actually having to make a new tree for it. It could be like, oh, welcome to the Endermite Mound, and it's just a giant island that's, baby Ender Dragon. Maybe I don't think they'll ever do that, just because they, if you get a baby Ender Dragon, you're basically forfeiting the ability to have an Ender Dragon again, right? That would be awful for them, especially because the Ender Dragon is literally used for, easy access to the outer end. Sorry, it's blanking on me what it's called. The fucking end islands, right? You need to kill it 8 times in order to get like all of it. If you want all 8 movements, right? All 8 directions to teleport to, right? So it would basically fundamentally get rid of that, because if you have a baby Ender Dragon, it's just not going to look good, right? I think if they wanted to go that route, maybe having like some type of Ender Phantom that you could then tame or some shit like that would be easier, just because I think that is probably what they're going to do. If they do something like that, I don't know if they'll just create a new creature, but also at the same time, where did the Ender Scent go, right? Where did all the other end creatures even go, right? Because we know that there were more, because Dungeons is not, it's still the same universe. They have stated that on multiple occasions that the dungeons and normal Minecraft are on the same universe. It's like the same thing. They are not different. They're just different points in time, but they won't state which point in time it is. I'm going to wager pretty far in the past, and then even further in the past is Legends, but Legends isn't even a real account. Are the Endermen still the ancient builders? I don't think so. In fact, I think they're a type of undead mob. In fact, I don't even think they know what they are. In fact, I think the Ender Scent are like they were human at one point. They're using human carcasses, like a large portion of the world is, meaning that the humans and the ancient builders have been there for so long. I'm calling them humans. I don't even know what to name them, because there are several hominin species, and not even really hominin, but like humanoid species, because there's like piglins, villagers, humans. So they're probably Pogonins, because they're piglin. They're all descendants of piglins. They all, I would assume, a descendant of piglins, because they all are nose based on how you can identify them. Like their defining feature is their nose. All of the sentient creatures, that's where you would look. For example, piglin, their nose is literally the centerpiece, which would eventually create villagers, is what I would assume, right? So all of the piglins that were left in the nether became piglins and hoglins and stuff like that. Well, all of the pigs that were left in the overworld eventually became villagers, and the ancient builders basically removing the nose and one elongating it because they liked their nose, right? And then those guys, the undead, eventually discovered the end, and when you went to the end, there was a corruption. There was an orb there that basically takes over, because we all know that in dungeons that they had this orb, and then there was a giant ender creature. There was I think it was called the end something, like the heart of the end. You had to put them all together, making another golem that you would fight. killing it outright, right? But all of those things were all attached to that. I think they're all corrupted by some form of this thing. And then that thing eventually, I'm assuming, became a command block. I don't know yet. A large portion of this I'm still having to study because, again, archaeology is hard in Minecraft. I'm not going to lie. Or the villagers left in the nether became piglins. I don't think so, because piglins, when pigs, when hit with heat, become piglins. And then those guys and all of these people, all these creatures, all collectively can turn into zombies, right? They all can collectively turn into zombies, meaning it is either zoonotic or not really zoonotic. It is zoonotic because insects can also get hit with this disease, because phantoms, they are insects. You can kill them. You get a membrane out of it. Bugs are associated with membranes. It is a bug, right? So I think villagers are a type of pig. They all have a very similar pigment. See what I did there? Pigment. But they're all very obsessed with their nose. Minecraft humans aren't obsessed with their nose. A pig, when hit with heat, becomes piglins. Yes, in the overworld, when you strike lightning on a pig, it becomes a zombie piglin, which means it was already infected before it got hit. If you slowly heat it up over time, like with the nether, it becomes a piglin, right? That's just how that would work, right? Because if you hit it with lightning in the overworld, it turns into a zombie piglin, which only means that the thing that's, not a zombie is the same process, just in a different area and slow over time, which means heat does affect how something forms. So literally a piglin and a pig and a piglin are the same thing, but also at the same time, some of the pigs would eventually go on to become hoglins. I don't really have anything to confirm this, but hoglins and pigs, they're the exact same thing. I'm just assuming because of the fact that heat over time became pigs exposed to this heat, some of them became piglins, right? While the other ones became hoglins, right? I don't really have anything to back this up. I'm over here still thinking of zombie pigmen. Yeah, zombie pigmen, when you strike a pig with it, it becomes a zombie pigman. Which means a virus is in the overworld. There's some sort of virus in the overworld. I don't know what it is yet. It is zoonotic and is damn near infectious to almost everything. Almost everything in the entire overworld has that on it. And it doesn't affect whether you die or not. It only affects when you die when you're being bitten multiple times. For example, villagers. They are very susceptible to becoming zombies whenever they're bit, and in fact run away when they see other zombies, meaning, they have been with us for a long time. So piglins, villagers, humans, they're all a part of the same species. They all, or not necessarily species, but they're under the same genus. It's like us and chimpanzees. We fundamentally come from the same ancestor ape, right? Eventually, somewhere in the far past, we come from the same ancestor ape, right? Do I think it's some form of pig? Probably. It just makes too much sense here. It makes a lot of sense, especially with physics in the game. Now, Enderman, what are those guys? They're probably corrupt. Can you cure a zombie pigman like you can a zombie villager? Unfortunately not, which indicates that some can be cured, but I think that there is a way to probably cure all things that are turned into zombies, and that they were trying to find some form of cure for it. Because if you notice in the entire game, all of the ancient builders wiped out. All of the phantoms wiped out. And for some reason, they were always looking to try a way to cheat death, right? I think what happened is they were getting killed off in mass. They were having a giant plague that was going around, killing everything in its sight. They were trying to cure that. They were deeply religious, and so they were looking to sky gods, or they were looking somewhere else, and eventually they found magic. They found soul energy. They started using soul energy, and they created, they saw the villagers creating golems, and they were like, damn, what created that? That is so cool. And then they tried to create them. they eventually created their own form of things and yada yada yada. Eventually they were somewhat finding out ghasts use soul sand, right? Where did soul sand even come from? They probably found that out with mass extinction events and also when they opened up portals to the nether. I think that they found the nether before they found ghasts. They found ghasts after that, and they, used them at some point. Look, it's a very long conversation that I would have to put into probably a 3-part, 1 hour each video trilogy that I will probably be animating here shortly. But I do think this is all hypothetically everything. The zombie virus can be cured. Hypothetically, do we know how it can be cured yet? No, because they don't know how humans can get cured. They know how villagers can get cured because they have a different system. They have a different, organ system. They are not ancient builders. So it's you can see why they can't be cured with the exact same thing. Now, can they be cured? In fact, that's probably how the human in the game got cured. That's how Steve probably got cured at some point. Maybe even Alex, any humanoid character that's in the game probably got cured that way. Probably. I don't know, so I'm not going to state that one as fact, right? Now, what I do know as fact is that Ghast is a golem. And I will say that. I know it's a lot less interesting. A lot of people are like, shut up, it's just a video game. Why are you talking about this? Like as if you're a fucking Minecraft archaeologist. Because I am! I'm living out my childlike dreams. That I'm living out the dreams I had as a child in Minecraft, okay? I am becoming an archaeologist of Minecraft. Y'all can call me Frosty Archaeology, okay? You guys can call it Frosty Archaeology. Honestly, that kind of goes hard. That rolls right off the tongue. Also, thank you guys for the likes. I really appreciate that. But like I said, there is a lot that goes into it that I just don't think a lot of people quite understand, and that's what's causing, a large portion of people to not like what I'm saying. I gotta get to bed. All right, no problem. I'm actually about to end the stream here. I just wanted to rant about that because I got into an argument about ghasts being golems and nobody would believe me. And there was way too much pushback on it. And then all of their evidence was not substantial. They were like, it's this. No. That is not what the evidence leads to, unfortunately. No matter how much I hate it, that's not what the evidence leads to. But like I said, anyway, I am going to end it here because I am quite famished and tired, and I have work tomorrow. So thank you all for watching Frosty Archaeology, and y'all have a good day. I love y'all. Bye-bye, guys. See y'all.